Okay guys, here we are. We're back for more VP4 US Open 2017 and we're on the one loss side in today's match and it's in round 5. It's that match there between Tony Sam and Marcellus, a race to 11, and it's about to start in about probably 3-4 minutes time, and that'll just give us enough time to have a quick look around the brackets. Now we'll stay in the one loss side because we have another match, although I don't think it's in the schedule, but I do believe it's going to go ahead tomorrow afternoon at some time, and that'll be that match there between Tommy Yu and Shibo. Always a race to 11 in the one loss side. If we move further down, we can see Mofo the Pat is already through to round 6. And round 7 is Wink at Me. He's got a little wait before he gets another match. We also have Mofo the Pat lined up to play Snake Eyes. And Mr. Bill, who lost to Yamaguchi Taru the other day, he's waiting in round 7 on the one loss side. And we have Vinces, who is waiting to play the winner of Albinario and Mr. Strocum. They're going to have to arrange their match fairly soon as well, because we're on December the 19th as we're looking at this, and we've got 2 days to go. And that's the one loss side. If we look over at the winner's side, we can see Bedhead in round 5, and he is waiting to play the winner of Z Karaoke and Magician. But they've got until Christmas Day to arrange their match before they get through to the next round. And if we go further up, we can see Cobra is going to be playing Larry. And, well, they've arranged their match for December the 23rd at 7 AM. And that's absolutely no use for me, because I know where I'll be at that time on December the 23rd. I'll already have been working for 3 hours. I start work at 4 AM in the morning, so there's no way I'm going to be able to see that one. It'll be a good match to see, but anyway, players have to arrange what suits them. And there we go, Yamaguchi Taru is sitting there in round 5. So we can't be far away now before the room goes up. And this bracket just bugs my head, so it does. Right, anyway, that's that out of the way. Tournament room will go up any moment. The two players have been in practice. Well, Marcellus has been in a room practicing. Tony Sam's just been sitting in the chat, so presumably he's warmed up offline. I would like to think he has. I'll just reset it. Should be back up in a second. There we go, that's better. I had to fix the stream quality there on my second monitor. It was way down low. Hopefully we're all okay. Right, so looking at the watch, we are beyond the top of the hour. The room is up. One player is in. Tony Sam is still sitting in the chat, and the two players are in. And we are lagging off. I don't know who's who. I can see a house queue on the left hand side, so I'm probably still downloading that play queue. Pretty good lags, but Marcellus won it. And we'll just recap again, the same rules we recap every match. Race to 11 in the one loss side. It's alternate break. There are no jump queues in this tournament. You can still jump if you can. And the 9 ball is wild on the break. It can go in on the break, and if it does, you win the rack. So the push out played by Tony Sam, and well, he can't see enough of the one to cut it in the middle, so presumably looking for a decent safety. Well, that looks a bit heavy. Yeah, a bit too heavy, and that gives Marcellus a chance of a cut, I think. Let's have a look. Maybe not. Yes, he has. He's got a cut, and if he can miss that 6 ball, he can get the cue ball back down to the bottom half of the table as we look and have a shot in the 2. But that depends how brave he is. He doesn't look as if he's going to take the bait. So we've got a little bit of a cagey opening here. Having said that though, whoever can get the 1 ball and get a shot in that 2 should have a good chance of running out. And there's the first real mistake. Marcellus on the 1. I think he's slightly the wrong angle, but he can play this with inside English. Well, he's made his mind up. He's going the direct route. He's going for the 2-9 combo. We'll see if that pays off. Well, he might live to regret that choice of shot. As Tony Sam's got a thin one in the 2. The cue ball going back across twice, and that 3 ball goes past the 8. So this would be a bit of punishment for Marcellus in the first rack. Let's have a quick reminder where these players are from. Tony Sam's from England, and Marcellus is from Brazil. And he's going to have to be a bit delicate with this 5 ball if he's going to hold for the 6 into the same pocket. He's played that well. Good pace and good position in the 6, just to drop behind that 7. Now the Christmas hat's lying in the floor, and the Christmas t-shirt's in the wash. Well, this is a little tester. It's off the rail, so there's plenty of room to get it down the rail. So Tony Sam. Oh dear, now that was poor. I mean, that was 1.5 inches off the rail, and I don't think he took enough time over it. And that was 1 in the bag for Tony Sam there, but bad shot. And that's just as bad because he hit it far too hard as a bank. You've got to hit the banks at a medium pace, or the ball will just straighten up. It won't take the angle. So Tony Sam's got out of jail there, and so did Marcellus to start with. Took the 2-9 combo instead of going for the run out. And Tony Sam has eventually won the first rack. Strange shot choice by Marcellus to try and line up a 2-9 combo in the first rack of the match, when probably better trying to run out. That way you get your feel of you get yourself into the match, and it also lets your opponent know that you are capable of running out. So he tried to take the quick and easy option. It wasn't all that easy a combo, and eventually he did lose out. But this is his chance now in rack number 2. He needs to watch he doesn't stick himself behind the 9 here if he's going to stun over to the rail for this 5. Well, he's just rolled through, but I think he's okay. I can get rid of my little donut thing. I'll be able to, my little cue stick. Right, we're fine. Do a quick check as well while we're here. That's okay, everything's working. Well, if that finishes against 8, it's left it a bit awkward. Queuing down on it. You need to use the W button to step back from the table to see the 7 ball and get it lined up. So it's going to be 1 rack all, and a race to 11 is a very short race in Virtual Pool 4. It might be not a bad race in a real professional tournament, but in this game, racks can go by very quickly, especially if you're not winning them. Tony Sam's coming to the table here. Marcellus with a dry break. Tony's going to have no shot in the 2. It's on the right rail. 4 balls blocking the pocket that side. And that ended up just being a bit of a messy shot as well. In fact, he hit the 9 and it's ball in hand. Now, what does Marcellus do here? He's looking to line up a 1-9 combo, is he? Or is he deciding to go for the run out? Well, that looks... That's what I was thinking. I was thinking, why would he go for the run out when the 2's stuck in the rail? So he's looking to try and get 3 fouls out of Tony. That'd be a hard task. And Tony's flipped to 8. I don't know how much of that 1 ball he can see, but I'm about to find out. Absolutely none. And the 2 is now free, so here's Marcellus's chance. And the worst possible outcome there from kicking at that 1 was nudging the 2, and that's brought it into the game. Marcellus just needs to drop down to near the 4 ball. He's gone beyond that. So now the cue ball's running down towards us, unless he can get a bit of draw in it and get across the right hand side. Well, now he's playing from distance. Now with this shot here, he needs to do something with the cue ball. He's going to leave himself very square on the 5. He needs to get back. And it's gone out of shape. And that was the problem. When you end up leaving balls at a distance, it makes it a lot more difficult to get control of the cue ball at a distance to move it to where you want to move it. So he's ended up out of line. He'd have been much better trying to get that cue ball closer to the object ball he was working with, and it made it a lot easier to get on that 5. So Tony Sam has an easy enough run out here. Shouldn't be any problem. Just nudge the 7 in, leave the 8 and 9 down the rail for a 2-1 lead. Here's my wee bottle of water. I need a drink. I'm still curious as to why Larry has arranged his match with Cobra at 7 AM. He must have arranged it to suit Cobra at 7 AM. Possibly before Cobra goes to his work, because Cobra lives in England and Larry lives in the Midwest of the United States. Now, if Larry's playing his match at 7 AM GMT, that means he's playing at 1 AM in the morning Larry's time, which is a bit crazy. Well, here's hoping for Larry's sake that he stays awake. Anyway, the foul's been made. Scratching the break. And Marcellus 1-9 combo. And Tony's getting annoyed, but this is a tournament, Tony. It isn't, there's nothing in the rules about comboing a 9-ball. All perfectly legal. And if you get the chance, that's the thing you do yourself. So already Marcellus is getting under Tony's skin. And that's not a good sign. Get your mind on the game and what you're doing at the table rather than what your opponent's doing. So it's 2 racks all. Tony's got himself annoyed at the fact Marcellus played the 1-9 combo for no particular reason at all. It's all part of the game. And first chance you get, you do it to your opponent. That's it. Even the score up. Well, there's a poor safety there by Marcellus. Far too heavy. Well, here's hoping for Tony's sake that it works in a positive way. That it's got him riled up for whatever reason. And gives him even more focus on the job in hand. I'm checking the stream. The stream looks good. And remember, anybody that's watching the stream, if the stream quality looks poor, you need to click the little cog wheel on the bottom corner of the screen and choose your resolution. You can choose it to 1080, 60 frames per second. With Tony just finishing off with this 9, and this is still a little tester. Remember, he messed up that cut down the rail, but he's got this one. So he's back into the lead. And it's his break in rack number 6. And the break is dry. Now I would say between the two players, from experience of seeing them over the years, the player who's more likely to run out would be Tony Sam. He's got far more experience in the virtual pool game, but that's probably the only thing he's got going for him, because he doesn't get to play it an awful lot now. And Marcellus has left himself nowhere in the 3, and he's looking to billiard the 9 in here. That'll annoy Tony a bit more. Looks a good billiard. I think that in some ways it sends a wrong message to your opponent. I mean, the chance was there. It was a good chance for a combo. But sooner or later, that type of tactic is going to backfire on you if you're going to try and do that every time you get some sort of sight on a 9-ball. Well, there's a poor one by Tony. Got himself riled up. Well, there's a possible 5-9 combo here if Marcellus wants to have a go at that, but we'll see how confident he is if he can actually run these balls. Well, depends whether he wants to go high or low. If he plays it soft, he's going to play a long 7. But he should be up here to play the 7 so he can get the 8 into the middle and just drop onto the 9. So that means he's having to either leave a long 8 or run up and down the table. This isn't the best place to be playing the 7 ball from, unless he can draw square. Well, he's nudged into the 9. But again, this is at distance, and these are difficult to control. This is why you always have to plan your route out, have it clear in your mind what you're about to do. And straight away there, he's made a right hash of the 8 ball, but that was always going to be coming from where he started. And it's a gift for Tony Sam. He's played that well, because they're always difficult to judge as well. So this for 4-2. And that was just 4 balls that Marcellus had to run at this level. And if you're a 2,100 player, you have to run the table. There's no excuse. And in some ways, maybe a lot of Marcellus's points are all gained in challenge rooms. I don't know whether he gets to play that many 9-ball tournaments, but as I've said before, you can have whatever rating you have. It can be blown up out of proportion in challenge rooms, but when it gets down to it in a big tournament, you're going to be found out. It doesn't matter what your rating is. You're going to come up against somebody who's going to maybe show you up that your rating's maybe a bit overblown. But Marcellus can play well, but maybe he's a bit nervy. But he's going to have to lose that fairly quickly, and I don't think that's going to get to a rail. So some basic errors here creeping in from Marcellus, and it just gets me thinking that he's not got a lot of confidence in getting a result in this match from what I've seen so far. Tony Sam's got a lot more of the big tournament experience, so it won't frighten him to run the table. Just a question whether he can hold his game together long enough to do it. Well, this is going to be a problem. That has to get there, and he's once again, the pace is way short, and he's out of line, and now the cue ball's running. He's going to have a nasty cutback. He can possibly hit that 8 ball, and he needs a bit of luck. Well, he's actually avoided the 8 and done himself a favour. And it's a wee bit in no man's land here. This 6 ball looks as if it's going into the middle, and doesn't want to get an awful lot of draw on it. He's played it well. And now straight onto that end rail and back up into the middle of the table. But you see, he's left it short. There's a huge margin of error to get that cue ball, even up here. Even if you'd overhit it to here, he still had plenty of room. You don't want to be playing these from here, because the cue ball can only go one direction, and that's all around the table, or a lot of inside English, which makes the shot 10 times harder. And he's going to scratch. And that, well, that's a self-inflicted injury there for Tony. And that all stemmed from that poor pace that he played on the 8 ball. If you're going to do anything with that shot, you make sure you overhit it slightly rather than underhit it. If you underhit it, you don't get a second chance. If you overhit it, you've got that longer shot, but it's still far more easier than having to play that type of cutback. Tony Sam's in again. And of course, with it being such a short run, you don't got an awful lot of time to warm up. You've just got to be right on your game. And this is going to finish in no man's land as well. And he's having to pull out very good shots to keep the run going. Now this is calling out for a decent safety, and he's got the chance of a decent safety. You can actually bank the 5 to here and get the cue ball there up by the 9. And he's gone all out for it. But he's putting himself in positions that you don't want. Now this again, a little test of control. And that's a bit better. So this to open the gap again. So we're at 5-3. Well, the one goes no problem. The problem is going to be trying to get on that too, because the 8 and the 4 are a hindrance over on that right hand side. He's trying to play it as gentle as he can. Well, that's not bad. He can still chip that 2 in. Same problem again, is finding gaps here to at least get a sighter on the 3. And that's a good shot. 4 ball goes past the 8, no problem. Now in this instance, this is where you're having to work hard to get to these balls. My question is whether Marcellus is prepared to put in that kind of work. Those early attempts at combos and taking combos, he's looking for the easiest way out. Well, he's going to have to start doing some work. But he's getting help. He's getting help here from Tony. Tony's doing his best to find the worst positions he can put the cue ball in. And he's found another one. And now he's looking for cover somewhere, and goodness knows where he's going to find that. And that's a good shot. It's not a snooker, but at least it's safe. But once again, a poor, nervy shot by Marcellus. And I think he is feeling it, because he's played really poor touch for a 2,100 player. Well, this is another little tester. Needs that inside English to check the cue ball off the rail and come back across for the 9. And he's played it well. Now, when I mentioned earlier about being found out, Marcellus now is trailing by 6 racks to 3. And we're going to see what he's made of for the rest of this match. Oh dear. And another one. He's fallen one after the other. And it's getting from bad to worse. Well, pivot's the one where the whole cue twists. I used that right from the start in VP4, and I found that well, I still miss a lot of shots, but I miss a lot less shots when I don't have it. Legacy is the way VP3 was played. You didn't have a choice in VP3. VP3, you queued a certain way and that was it. But I think when you actually, in VP3, when you move the cue stick across the cue ball, I think the camera moves across as well. It's one or the other, but you can test it by going into VP4 and looking at it. But I set it to no, or the English effect is under the cameras menu in VP4, and I set that to none, and I've been playing with it since I set it that way, and I'm finding I can get better aiming using that way. But you can't expect overnight success. Jose McEwen was playing snooker. I was in a room with him a few weeks ago, and he was missing far too many, and I said to him, I said, look, change your camera to this and change your mouse sensitivity settings, or not the sensitivity, change your English setting to the one that I suggested. And he said it feels better. But if you do something like that, if you change something in your game in Virtual Pool 4, you don't expect, you know, you're going to win every tournament you're ever going to play in, and you're never going to miss again. You have to play with it long enough to get used to it. But I always say one of the most important things in Virtual Pool is getting that sensitivity worked on. You need to spend the time doing it. You need to get that mouse tweaked up and down as far as the sensitivity goes until, and the simple way to test it is to do a lag in 9-ball. In my case, whenever I'm plugging in a new mouse or doing anything like that, I just lock myself in a snooker room, and all I do is break off. And I break off to get that cue ball near the baulk cushion. And once you find that weight, that's you get a good judgment for weight for every other shot you're ever going to play. So if you can bank, if I'm playing 9-ball or any pool game and there's a lag at the start of the game, my lag's usually pretty good, especially in the 9-foot table. And it's only pretty good because I've got that weight of shot. I can certainly get, you know, probably 8 times out of 10 I can get it to within 5 inches of the bottom rail, which in most cases is a pretty good lag. So Marcellus has got one back. I would advise that of any player, is to tweak your mouse settings, because I've watched players over the last few matches, and in matches that I've played in, and I can see that they haven't got the control of the weight of shot because they're playing far too many bad shots. So if you're over hitting balls, or if you don't have the confidence to play certain shots, there's a shot that a lot of players struggle with as well, and that's judging a drawback shot to a certain position. And most times they either underhit it or they go for the big draw and hope that they get on the ball. And you've got to watch your Q-tip position as well. It's the same as real life. If you want a sort of delicate draw, then it's more of a stun draw, as I call it. You actually put the Q-tip, half a Q-tip below the equator of the cue ball, and give it a little smack, and it will come back, but it doesn't come flying up the table like a lot of players do. And the good players in Virtual Pool 4, you have to watch them. You have to follow them round the table and watch what they're doing, because they're doing it and they're achieving success from it. And a lot of players don't have the time or can't be bothered to try and progress their game and bring their game on. And this is how you get to being a good player. Or not so much a good player, but becoming a better player. So Tony Sam and Marcellus have shared the racks there. It's now 7-4, and Tony Sam is only 4 away. One ball's gone in. No shot in the 2. Now he's going to, well, I thought he was going to play the push out there. And I don't know whether he tried to nudge that 2 in off the 6. He might. And then again, he hasn't when you look at it from that angle. That could be clipped in. Cue ball's going to hit the 6. And no shot in the 3. Other than a... well, you can see half of the 3 ball. So is he going to slam this into the 9? This will tell you how Marcellus is thinking. If he slams this into the 9 and hopes he gets lucky. Whereas a good safety's on here. Nudge it over towards the 8 and get distance. Well, he's hit that too thick. Way too thick. He needed to just hit that a sliver on the right hand side of that 3 ball. Now he's left it on. So Marcellus is really struggling. That needs a little nudge. Well, that's done him a favour. Sitting perfect in the 5. Now, you see that shot that Tony just played there? Watch that 5 ball. You see how he's just come back. Now, you see how it was a stun. It was like a firm shot. And the cue ball's come back 5 inches. And that's how you get the control over your draw shots. Is by where you're putting the Q-tip in that cue ball and how you're playing the ball. Tony knows you have to play a little firm stun, and the draw action comes into play after the cue ball goes through, because you've hit it just below the equator of the cue ball. And there is a lot to be learned by watching other players. That's what I did when I first started playing Virtual Pool 3. I looked at the good players and I went in and watched them. I spent more time watching them than I did play. And you see what they're doing and you learn from what they're doing. So Tony Sam, 8-4 up. And this is the point where, if anything's going to happen, Marcellus is going to have to very quickly get his act together. And his first test is somehow getting down onto that 4 ball when he's close to the rail. He's a distance from the 4 ball. I think he played that with a bit inside to try and leave himself the shot in the 4 there. That's why he's missed the 3. Now, Tony's got a similar issue here. He's tried to baby that 3 ball in. That was a bit ambitious. Once again, though, in such a way, it's actually calling out Marcellus to run out here. And he's going to go too far. And now he's out of shape again. And this is going to be a hit and hope to get on this 5. If he plays it the right way, he can get to the bottom right hand corner of the table and at least have a cut back in the 5. Well, he's got there. Let's look at the 6. Well, the 6 doesn't go past the 8. And he's going to have to leave a long 6 as well, unless he drops behind it and plays it long into this bottom corner where the donut is, or if he finishes there. But that's the sort of thing he needs to be thinking. What way can he get on this 6? So he's played it soft to try and leave it long. Well, he actually left it in the middle, but once again, the 5's hung up. And Tony's also made a hash of that one. But straight away he's thinking he's going all out for the cut. Well, he's going to have to judge this 7 ball, because that isn't easy, I don't think. It's an awkward angle. No, he's pretty straight. Looked as if he was offline on it, but it was just more or less a straight in shot. But it's turning out here so far that Tony Sam is just picking off the debris that's been left by Marcellus. And that's neither here nor there. Well, he's got to go for the cut into the corner. The cue ball's going to hit the side rail. He's not going to scratch unless he hits it far too hard. He's got to hit it pocket weight, and he's played it well. So it's 9-4. And it's a long way back for Marcellus. And I have to say, and I'm being honest, and I think if you've watched it so far, I've not seen an awful lot to impress me as far as Marcellus's play goes. It's not as if he's been outplayed. It's just the fact he hasn't been in the match. But here's his chance to prove me wrong. An open table. There are no problems in the table, and the only problems are going to be self-inflicted. Now he's again miles away from the 3, which makes getting on the 4 much more difficult. He needs a lot of power. This needs to be slammed. But, you know, he's playing the type of game where he's playing things at distance. Putting himself in a lot of trouble. There's no way he should have been playing this 4 ball from here. And it's always going to end up that you're going to miss these shots. You just cannot follow through shot after shot. Entirely the wrong approach to clearing that table there. So he's definitely been found out as far as this match goes. Some weak choices of shots. No attempt at the position, and he had the angle to do it. He needed a lot of power, but he had the angle to get that cue ball around the table. Wasn't interested at all. And Tony Sam, I think, at distance here, but he's got the angle. And he's short of pace. Well, here's hoping Marcellus doesn't watch this video. So Tony Sam on the hill, leading by 10 racks to 4. And this match is over. There's nothing going to happen in this match that's going to shock me. I think it's as if Marcellus has got to this part of the tournament and thought, this is as far as I'm going to get. Well, the best thing and the best advice is don't slam the ball around the table, because that 6 and 8 are tied up. And, well, he slammed it, missed the 4. So, ball in hand to Tony Sam. So he's got the work to do to open that 6 and 8. Now, he might take the risk of doing it now. He could try possibly going into the 6 and 8, and he'd still be on the 5, possibly into the right middle. But he's now... How's that angle? That angle looks good. A little touch of right-hand English on the cue ball, and he'll kick off the rail into the 6 and 8. Well, he needs a lot more right English on this one. Game over. So Tony Sam just tidying up. It's going to be short and sweet, just 45 minutes, and 3 of those minutes was before the match started. So Tony Sam marches on in the one-loss side. If he can eventually pot, I think he's locked up. He's on, I think he's on a wireless network, and his game freezes up like this. Then again, he's been typing, that's another reason. Right, it's 11-4 to Tony Sam, so he's on to the next round. Marcellus, well, he needs to go and look at himself. He needs to give himself a good talking to. You can look flashy in a challenge room, but when you come up against the good guys in big tournaments, then they'll prove whether you've got a game or not. And Tony certainly showed Marcellus up. Didn't have to really work very hard to win that. Marcellus made it far too easy. Right, we're going to have a look at the bracket before I keep mumbling on and upsetting other players. Right, so now where the hell were they in the bracket? There we are there. So Tony Sam's through to round number 6, and he is going to play bigs. And well, I'm going to say right now, Tony would really need to play bad in that match to lose it. He'd be the strong favourite to win that match with bigs. So he's on a good side of the bracket at the moment, but as far as Tony marches on, he's going to end up playing one of the top players. He's going to play a stronger player at some point, but he's got a fair to middling chance in the next match anyway. So, just a quick reminder before I go. There's a match tomorrow. Not tomorrow, when is it? It's in a few days' time, December the 23rd. That's Larry, who's going to be playing Cobra at 7 AM GMT. And there's a match tomorrow, which I don't think is in the schedule, but that's with Tommy, you and Shibo. Hopefully I'll have that match. Hopefully I'll be home in time for it. And that'll be a race to 11 as well. So with that, folks, well, Richard, did I say anything that you didn't agree with? That's the point. I mean, Marcellus wasn't up for it at all. I was expecting an awful lot more out of the guy. He's a 2,160 odd player, and if you're rated 2,100, you're expected to run a table. And he made some really poor safety shots, you know, 2 or 3 of them at least, 2 that were glaring, where he just didn't have the touch. And you know, he was found out. That's what I keep saying. He was found out. He's a challenge room player. He's not a big tournament player, if that's the way he plays. But you know, he can come back and say he had an off day and whatever. But he didn't. What I got from that is he didn't play with any confidence whatsoever. And that's the wrong attitude to go into the game. I mean, you know, I've played players much better than me over the years, and I've given a good account of myself, but I've never went in and said, oh, I've lost. You go in and you play the table. Doesn't matter who the hell you're playing. Only you can, you know, be the judge of how you played. But you play the balls, you play the table, and you play the game. Marcellus didn't do anything. He didn't do anything to impress me. He played like I'll tell you what he played like. He played like a 1700 player. Not a 2,100 player. He definitely didn't. But as I say, I speak as I see, and I tell it like I see it. And if you don't like it, then tough. that's what it's about. You know, you're giving your objective opinion on what you're seeing. And if I see crap from anybody, then I'll call it. And they know it is. That's the best of it. They know it's crap. But I've already had one player come back to me and said that people don't like him because of what I've said in commentaries. So, you know, that most, I would say 99% of people that play in the matches, they'll know how they played the shot, and it comes out bad. And you know, if I call it and I say, well, this is what went wrong, or that's what he did, or he overhit that, or he did that, well, that's what it is. If they agree with it, it doesn't matter to me. I don't care. I'll just tell you what I think. But that's what most commentators do. Most commentators have played a game, or have played the game, and very often not played it to a great standard. I mean, I'm no a great player at Virtual Pool 4. I'm probably a much better theorist about games than what I'm player. You know, so but I know enough to get by, put it that way. And I would have put up a hell of a better performance than what Marcellus did in that match. Tell you. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Reminder that tomorrow, it's not in the schedule, but I've spoken to both players, and they should be online tomorrow afternoon, round about probably, I'm guessing maybe 1 or 2 in the afternoon GMT. But if you're a subscriber, you should get an email letting you know when I've gone live anyway. So if I'm here, I'll have it streamed. I'll definitely have it streamed. That'll be another one for the archive. And unfortunately, as I say, I'm going to miss Solari. I'm missing quite a few good matches. But the guys have to set the matches to suit themselves, not to suit me. And I'll just have to miss that one. Unfortunately, I'll be working that morning. So thanks for watching. See you again sometime.